You're now on the record. You lied to Senator Cassidy. You have lied to the American people. You have lied to parents about vaccines for 20 years. And I also want to be clear that I will lay all responsibility for every death from a vaccine-preventable illness at your feet. Secretary Kennedy, on May 27th, you posted a 60-second video on your X account unilaterally changing vaccine recommendations without consulting the customary panel of experts. As a pediatrician, I find that extremely alarming. So I thought we would talk a little bit about some vaccine-preventable diseases. Secretary Kennedy, and these are yes or
Lady from Washington State, Dr. Schrier, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Secretary Kennedy, on May 27th, you posted a 60-second video on your X account unilaterally changing vaccine recommendations without consulting the customary panel of experts. As a pediatrician, I find that extremely alarming. So I thought we would talk a little bit about some vaccine-preventable diseases. Secretary Kennedy, and these are yes or no questions. Have you ever treated measles?
Do I what?
Have you ever treated measles?
No.
Well, I have. Let me tell you how miserable it is. These kids have high fevers, struggling to breathe, and they are crying. They suffer. Great news is that there is a vaccine to prevent it. Secretary Kennedy, again, a yes or no question. Have you ever treated bacterial meningitis?
No.
Well, I have. These babies are so sick. They come into the ER with high fevers. They are floppy, and we have to figure out why. Do you know how we figure out if a baby has meningitis?
Excuse me?
Do you know how we figure out if a baby has spinal meningitis?
How many babies?
I'm going to explain how we figure out and determine if a baby has meningitis.
Okay.
We insert a needle between vertebrae until the fluid that surrounds the spinal cord drips out into a test tube. It's called a spinal tap. We used to do lots of them. Fortunately, we don't have to do very many of these anymore because we have 3 vaccines that prevent childhood meningitis. These are miracles. Secretary Kennedy, yes or no, have you ever treated pertussis or whooping cough?
No, I've had it.
Well, I have. And in infants, in fact, the one I treated, weeks old, came in because the baby just stopped breathing and turned blue. Let me tell you how scared those parents were. And I've treated a bunch of older kids with it. They cough so hard, they vomit. They run out of air. They break ribs. And if you don't catch it before 2 weeks, antibiotics don't even work. They cough for months with broken ribs, and that is why it is called a 100-day cough. But you know what's great? There's a vaccine that prevents this. Of course, here's the thing. Vaccines only work if you actually give them. And we know your record on this. We rely on the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, a panel of experts to recommend which vaccines people should get at which ages and the like. Now, I know Senator Cassidy had concerns about your views on this, and so when he voted to confirm you as Secretary of HHS on February 4th, he explained that decision by saying on the Senate floor that, quote, if confirmed, you will maintain the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices without changes. But then 2 weeks ago, you fired all 17 experts on that very committee. Mr. Secretary, question for you. Did you lie to Senator Cassidy when you told him you would not change this panel of experts?
I never made that agreement.
So are you saying that Senator Cassidy lied when he was on the Senate floor, lied to the American people?
I didn't see that statement by Senator Cassidy. I've only heard it from you, but if he said that I agreed to it, it would be inaccurate. I made an agreement with him. I made an agreement with him, and he and I have talked many times about that agreement.
My time. I just want to tell you that for most of us sitting here right now, we believe Senator Cassidy more than we trust you when it comes to vaccinations. It sounds to me like you gave him the answer he needed to hear in order to get his confirmation vote, and then as soon as you were secretary, you turned around and did whatever you want. You fired all 17 members.
I'm complying with all the agreements that I
Mr.
made
Secretary,
with Senator Cassidy.
You're now on the record. You lied to Senator Cassidy. You have lied to the American people. You have lied to parents about vaccines for 20 years. And I also want to be clear that I will lay all responsibility for every death from a vaccine-preventable illness at your feet. I yield back.